In this video, I'm going to talk you through an experience that I had with a builder. Now, the vast majority of the builders I work with are going to be great. They're going to understand and know what they're doing, and they're going to want to work with you long term, right? But there are going to be some out there that are cowboys, and they will take money off you if you're not careful. So knowing the stuff that I'm going to talk about on this whiteboard is going to help you to know what builders to employ and to get rid of the bad ones. Before you employ them or pay them money, know absolutely everything about them to be able to, make sure you can work with them long term and that they're not just going to rip you off. A lot of them are good, but there are some that will just take money off you, right? So I bought a property for £100,000. I took the builder to the actual viewing and was told, yeah, you're going to be looking at £35,000 renovation here. Didn't really give me much of a breakdown in regards to what was actually going to happen. But me being naive and inexperienced, I thought, boom, 35k, this is going to be a banger. So my fees are £6,000, is an end value of 170k. So, I thought, I'm going to make £29,000 here. In the next 6 months when I sell this property, I'm going to go and make £29,000. So I couldn't wait for it. I thought, this is excellent. It was one of my first flips. I had done a flip previously, but I'd kind of project managed it myself and it had taken a long time. So the reason that I wanted to use a builder was because, they can do it faster than what I can. They've got all the contacts and the contractors that work for them. So, this is going to be turned around in 3 months tops. It's going to be on the market in 4. And then in month 5 and 6, I'm going to be in conveyancing because it's going to sell. And I'm going to make 29k. Great. But to my inexperience, I had made some mistakes. Now, these are things that you guys on here may be thinking, oh, that's simple. I wouldn't do that myself. I would never give the builder 50% up front. I would always make sure that there's a contract in place. I would always have stage payments. I would always have referrals from other landlords and developers to say that, yeah, they're good at their job. I always look out for if they're promoting their business or not. Or you could have been like me. Didn't have much of an idea, right? So what happened? Well, £35,000 for the renovation, and I was quoted. Half of that, 17k or whatever it is, sorry, excuse my maths is wrong. So paid him that money up front, right? So we'd done the rip out. What happened then? We found issues that we didn't think were going to be there. A few rotten joists, a structural issue with a wall that needed to come down inside. What else was there? Just the catalogue stuff that, in reality, when I look back now, should never have cost me 20k. Should never have cost me £20,000. So what had happened, right? I'd paid him 50% up front. We had done the rip out, and now he's coming to me with issues. And also in the quote, not everything was listed for what I actually wanted. So a full rewire wasn't in the thing. It said electrical, I didn't read the quote properly maybe, but it was partial rewire. When we got in there, it's going to need a full rewire. From the start, I should have knew, or the builder should have made it clear in the quote that you're not having a full rewire here, you're having a partial one. So I ended up paying for a full rewire. The boiler was meant to be fine, didn't work properly, so we had to have a new boiler. And a catalogue of other stuff, right, resulting in 20k. So because I had paid him 50% up front, it was either a case now of me staying quiet and just saying, okay, is there any way we can make this a bit cheaper and obviously keep working together on this project? Or it was, I'm not going to pay you anymore for anymore, but I've already given you 17 grand. So you either tell him to go away and I'm not going to work with you anymore and lose 17k because I paid him half up front, or you kind of just sit tight and try and get on with it and try and work your way through it. You've already paid him now, paid him half, so these other little bits are not going to equate to 20k. But by the end of the project, got up to £20,000 on top. So how to make this more profitable for you and a lot better. Look to pay a contractor 10 to 15% upfront for a deposit. A lot of contractors that are good, they'll say, just give us 5% or 10%. We don't need the cash flow. We've already got a business running, right? So, and like you say, just because the quote's cheap doesn't mean you should go for it, right? So 10 to 15%. I had no contract, nothing to bind us together to say that I have sent him 20k on paper that we've both signed, or 17k that we were going to do work together. I didn't have no schedule of works properly. I had a rough quote from him. So making sure you have a contract with the builder is also really key, because it binds you together to say that you're working together and this is what's going to happen. Stage payments, another massive thing, right? So after every achievement, you then pay the builder for what they've done. You're not giving them a massive amount of money up front. You're paying them for what they've done. So for instance, the rip out, pay them after the rip out. You pay them for their first fix electrics, first fix plumbing, boarding, plastering, dry lining, whatever way you're going to do it, right? So you're paying them after every achievement. That way, you know that you're not paying the builder too much and you're in control. Because if this happens and the builder gets in control of you, then they can kind of dictate to you how much things are going to cost if there's any unforeseen work. And listen, when you're doing renovations and you're gutting properties that have been there for 100 years, you're going to have issues, right? So it's always good, I haven't got it in here, but to have a contingency. So if you have a £35,000 renovation, you keep £3,500 behind, 10%. So for anything unforeseen, you know that you've got that covered. You don't have to tell the builder, by the way, I've got a 10% contingency on this. You don't have to tell them, you just keep the contingency to yourself, because you're hoping that when you get in there and you do the work, that you're not going to have to pay any unforeseen stuff because you've covered everything at the start, right? So having a contract in place and obviously having your own contingency in place is massive. What's next? Obviously stage payments after every achievement. This is something that when someone told me, I used to say, no, I'll be fine. I don't need referrals or anything like that. But in the grand scheme of things, referrals from other landlords is one of the most important, because if you're an investor or a landlord and you're doing development, you understand that things can go wrong. But at the end of the day, you are also the person at risk because you're investing all of the money. If you're the one and I've worked with some builders that think because you're going to go and make 29k on the exit when you sell it, that they also deserve to make 25k or 30k on the renovation because they're doing the work for you and you're going to make a profit. When in reality, they haven't paid £140,000. It hasn't cost them anything to get into the deal. So boxing clever is very important. Try not to tell your builder how much you've actually bought the property for at the start. Quick tip. Because again, another thing from me. When I viewed the property, how much are you buying this for? I'm buying it for 100k. All right, then what's the end value? I don't know, 170. All right, okay. So you're looking to make X return. Yeah. All right. But if you're with a builder that isn't working with you long term, and they realize that you're going to actually go and make 29k here, they're going to try and charge you a little bit more. So being vigilant with your builders, boxing clever. You don't have to tell them that you bought it for 100k. Tell them you bought it for 85. No, that's wrong. Tell them you bought it for 120, 110, 115. So that, it doesn't look like as if you're making bigger money than what you are. But a lot of builders will be happy for you to go and make money. There'll be some that are a bit bitter and they will try and charge you more, right? So referrals and obviously from landlords is key because, like I said, landlords, I've worked with them, they've made a profit on their deals. They can vouch for them and say, yeah, they've done a good job for me, right? No sign vans or, promoting their business if someone, like in our day and age now, if you're not promoting your business, then, you know, okay, you may be too busy or whatever if you're a little bit older, but, you know, if you're trying to grow your business now, you're going to be promoting it online. Like, there's no other way you're going to be doing it. Yeah, you may be in the newspaper or Yale or whatever, but, you know, you're going to be promoting your business. So if the contractor's not promoting their business, or they haven't got no sign bands or any uniform, they're not really, you know, oh, light's gone off here. They're not really someone that you want to be working with, right? Like, they may do a great job, but in our day and age, I'm going to be working with someone that is promoting their business, yeah? So anyway, this deal ended up 20k over budget from the quotation. You know, 140k I was meant to pay, ended up paying another 20. And it took us 10 months to actually sell the property and it all be complete. The renovation took about 6 months because I thought I was using a contractor, that it was going to be much faster. But what you've also got to realize is these contractors will have a few jobs going on at the same time as well. So understanding what they've actually got on at the moment. And, you know, a lot of the time now, contractors, unless you're booking them in advance, if they can come straight into your job, you know, why aren't they busy? They should be busy, you know? Unless you've negotiated with them and said, look, I'm buying this in 3 months' time, keep it in mind that, you know, we're going to use you, then fair enough. But if you've got a contractor that can jump straight into your job, that's not usually a good thing because they're not busy, right? So, anyway, I ended up selling this property for £168,000. 168k, not bad, right? Because I wanted to sell it for 170, managed to get 168 for it. So, I paid 1.3% to my estate agent when I sold the property, which resulted in £22,100. My solicitor's fees, £900. Meaning that in 10 months from this one deal, I made £3,916. And I was absolutely very lucky to make money from this deal, because that could have easily went to 25, 26, 27,000 pounds, because I didn't have the knowledge or the expertise or any of this in place. Because again, if you're going to be investing a lot of money into buying properties, you need to make sure that you know how to handle these sorts of situations, because not everyone wants to be a friend in business. They are, you know, here for short term. They're here to make money as well, but, you know, a lot of people don't care about you. They will just take money off you, and they will try and pull the wool over your eyes. So keep this in mind before you do hire a builder. Now, guys, again, if you're looking to really start leveling up your property game and you're looking to buy properties, or you have equity in your own property, or you've got an investor with cash and you want to get into doing this properly, make sure to click the link in my bio. Let's get a call booked in, and I would love to help you build your own portfolio and build generational wealth and cash flow for your family, right? So I shall see you on the next one.